5 years, gone 00:00. Not because of an accident. There wasn't any life-changing event you'd always remember. It just slipped by, day after day, quietly. You wake up, do the same familiar things, then go back to sleep. Everything repeats, until you don't even notice you're slowly losing something. Until one day, it hits you. 5 years have passed like they were never there. If you've ever felt time slipping away in a way that scares you, comment 1. So you know you're not the only one. He always says, tomorrow, I'll start. But, tomorrow, slowly turns into next week. And next week, stretches into next month. And before he even realizes it, it drifts into next year. It's not that he doesn't know what to do. And it's not that he lacks goals to chase. It's just, there's always a perfectly reasonable excuse to delay. He's tired after a long day. He thinks he needs a little more rest. He believes he's not quite ready yet. And every time, he reassures himself that there's still plenty of time. Just today. A gentle sentence, but repeated often enough. It quietly pulls every plan further away from reality. He always says he's not a lazy person. It's just, he's gotten used to being comfortable. Comfortable with putting things off a little longer. Comfortable with leaving things there, unresolved. Comfortable with never really starting at all. The couch slowly becomes the safest place. His phone becomes where he escapes whenever he needs to forget the pressure. Everything around him feels calm, nothing forces him, nothing feels uncomfortable. But deep inside, there's an emptiness he can't quite name. A sense of something missing, that he keeps trying to ignore. He knows he could do better. He knows he's wasting time. But knowing, has never been enough to change. And day after day, he still chooses the comfort in front of him, instead of doing what's right for his future. Until one day, he stops, and really looks at his life. Nothing dramatic happened. No major failure. Everything seems fine. But that's exactly the problem. Nothing ever changed. The room looks just like it always has. The same habits repeat every day. A routine so familiar, it feels numb. Life isn't going downhill. But it's not moving forward either. And for the first time, he realizes standing still is also a kind of loss. 5 years have passed. So quietly he barely felt them. No one forced him to stop. Nothing held him back except himself. And yet, he's still in the same place. The same habits. Every morning you wake up, everything unfolds just like yesterday. The same routine. Nothing new, nothing different, just familiar loops repeating. The same excuses. Gentle, reasonable, to the point you no longer question them. I'll do it later. I need more time. I'm not ready yet. Those words sound harmless. They don't hurt you right away. They don't create obvious consequences in a day, or even a week. But when you repeat them long enough, they quietly shape the way you live. Each small choice builds into a habit. Each habit pieces together a life. And at some point, you realize they're no longer just excuses. They've become your life. And then, a truth hits him. Not in a loud way. Not as a dramatic shock. But as a quiet realization, heavy and undeniable. He didn't lose time. No one took those 5 years away from him. He traded them away himself. Traded evenings he could have used to begin. For a few hours of mindless scrolling to unwind. Traded small opportunities each day. For moments of instant comfort. Every time he said, later. He chose what was easier over what was right. And looking back, he realizes the price he paid. Not just a day, not just a month, but an entire chapter of his life. All in exchange for moments of comfort that left nothing behind. Every hour he chooses comfort feels like such a small decision. But in reality, every one of those choices comes with a cost. A cost that doesn't show up right away. Doesn't make him stop or feel afraid. Comes at a price. Paid with his own future. Every time he delays just a little longer, he moves further away from the person he once wanted to become. Not in big leaps, but in tiny steps, almost impossible to notice. He doesn't realize it. Because nothing collapses. There are no immediate consequences. Because the price doesn't come in that moment. It comes slowly. Seeping into ordinary days. So quietly he can't even hear it. But inevitably, with each passing day, he's gradually paying for the comfort he keeps choosing. And that's when he realizes everything becomes clearer than ever. No one is coming to save him. There's no hand reaching out to pull him out of procrastination. There's no miracle waiting overnight. No perfect moment that will just appear on its own. And there's no one who can live this life for him. Every choice, every action is his responsibility. If you're still waiting for the day you'll feel ready, comment yes. And ask yourself, how much longer are you going to wait? Not motivation. It's not a sudden burst of inspiration that will save him. Not luck. And it's not about waiting for the perfect opportunity to appear. It's just him. And the choices he makes every single day. He begins to understand. Life doesn't change because of one big decision. It's shaped by very small choices. Repeated, quietly, but consistently. Not a dramatic turning point. But ordinary moments, where he has to choose. Stay or begin. Delay, or act. Choose immediate comfort. Or long-term growth. Every choice, no matter how small, is pushing him in a certain direction. And for the first time, he realizes he doesn't need to wait for anything. Because the small choices he makes today are deciding who he becomes. And for the first time, he stops and doesn't say the familiar line anymore. No more tomorrow. Not next week. Not waiting until he feels motivated. For the first time, he doesn't delay. He chooses something simple, but different. Today, there's no perfect plan. No complete sense of readiness. Just a very small decision. But enough to break the old cycle. Not because he suddenly became a different person. But because he understands one thing clearly. If not today, then tomorrow will just repeat itself. And just like that, nothing will ever begin. For the first time, he doesn't wait for motivation to lead him. He takes action first. And creates his own momentum. He doesn't change everything. There's no instant transformation. No perfect version of himself appearing overnight. He starts, very small. He clears his messy desk. Turns off his phone so he's no longer pulled into distractions. Sits down, and begins to work. Not perfectly. Sometimes he loses focus. Sometimes he feels like quitting halfway through. Not fast. The results aren't clear yet. The progress is so slow that sometimes he doubts himself. But, it's real. Real action. No longer just promises. And for the first time in years, he's not just thinking about change. He's actually doing something. It doesn't have to be big. It just has to move forward, even slowly. And in that moment, he feels something he hasn't felt in a long time. He's moving forward. Because progress doesn't begin with big, sudden changes. It doesn't come from perfect plans or inspiring promises. It begins with very simple decisions, but deeply honest ones. Honest about where you are. No avoiding. No justifying. No comforting yourself with familiar excuses. And more importantly, honest with yourself. About whether you truly want to change. Not just to sound good. Not just to feel better for a moment. But to face the truth. That if you don't take action, everything will stay the same. Progress doesn't start from the outside. It starts the moment you're brave enough to be honest with yourself. You're not losing time. You're trading it. No one is taking your days away from you. It's your small choices, quietly deciding everything. And the question is, today, what are you trading your time for? A little comfort right now? Or a better future? There's no absolute right or wrong. Only the price you're willing to pay. If you understand this, comment 1. Not for anyone else to see, but to remind yourself that starting today, you'll choose more carefully. Even if it's just one small decision, it can be enough to change the direction of your life.